The Ark of the Covenant is a secret gold-covered object known to the Jews, Christians, and also the Muslims. It has also been made known to a wider audience by being depicted in various movies. But what is the Ark of the Covenant? The oldest text written about it is the Torah, found in the Jewish Tanakh and in the Old Testament of the Bible. It tells us about the supreme God, the one who claimed to be the creator of planet Earth. He wrote 10 laws on 2 tables of stone. These stones were then placed into a gold-covered chest. The chest itself was then closed with a seat or lid with 2 cherubims, one on each side of the lid. The ark was used for 2 different purposes. It was above this seat the creator of the earth would manifest himself, as the law and the ark functioned as a throne for the creator. Secondly, it was put into a sanctuary system along with other holy objects. No one was allowed to enter the room that housed the ark, except once every year, where a high priest brought blood into the room and placed the blood in front of the ark and on the seat of the ark. This signified how the people's transgressions against the law in the ark had been brought to justice, by a substitute's blood being brought before the throne. It was later moved to the first temple in Jerusalem. Sometime before the Babylonians besieged the city and destroyed the temple, it is assumed that it was hidden or that it disappeared. Since then, many scholars, theologians, historians, and archaeologists have wondered what had happened to it, or if it had even existed. Was it a fact or was it a myth? No one was allowed to touch the ark. On more than one occasion, those who violated this law were struck dead. It also followed the Israelites into war. When it was captured by enemies, they were struck by plagues until they returned it to its guardians. It was thought to have magical powers. Over many years, there have been many ark hunters looking for the Ark of the Covenant, or trying to understand the significance of the ark. Many have made replicas of it. More than one have claimed to have discovered it, but so far, no one has brought evidence of their findings so they could be examined. But one claim was to stand out from all the others in a very special and heart-wrenching way. The disappearance of the ark has been a mystery for a very long time. All the sources mentioning its hiding place were written long after its disappearance and is clearly based on either legends or even guesswork. The last time it was mentioned in the Bible was when King Josiah ordered it to be placed back into the temple. But we also know that Babylon conquered Jerusalem in Josiah's son's days, well over 35 years later. One interesting thing about this is that there is no mention of the ark, although other items that was taken are mentioned. However, the Book of the Maccabees, that came several hundred years after it went missing, claimed that the ark had been hidden at the mountain where Moses saw the promised land before he died. The Book of Baruch, an even younger book, claimed that God let the earth beneath Jerusalem swallow it up, and that the ark would surface again at the end times. And medieval literature claimed the ark had been taken to Ethiopia, and some 20th century speculation included Egypt and even Ireland. But what the ark is and where it is might actually be connected. The main function of the Ark of the Covenant was to be the governmental seat of God in his earthly temple. But the ark had many assignments outside the sanctuary and wasn't limited to the sacrificial rituals. Both inside and outside the sanctuary system, the ark was used to defend God's right as judge and only true God and king of the whole earth. His claim to this right was written in the law inside the ark, which stated that he was the creator and that the earth, therefore, belonged to him. The God of the Bible said, "The ark of the Lord of all the earth. For all the earth is mine. For the Lord Most High is terrible. He is a great king over all the earth." That is why the ark went in front in the war against the city of Jericho. Even though this city didn't accept him as God, or being the supreme authority on earth, he could still judge and sentence them. Although Nebuchadnezzar, the great leader in Babylon, didn't worship the God of Israel, both he and other kings and great nations in those days were still judged by God. The Assyrians, the Midianites, Canaanites, Egyptians, Ethiopians, Philistines, and many other nations who rejected God as their God was still judged according to God's standard. When the last king of Babylon mocked God and God's temple, he was sentenced by the Lord by the means of a hand writing his judgment on the wall in front of everyone in the room. God shows that no matter what religion or ethnic background you have or belong to, you will be judged according to the standard of the Creator and not by your own moral standard or the moral standard of your specific culture. One of the ark's functions was going before God's people in the wilderness and to lead them to their resting place. It was present when a dispute of authority about whom God's chosen was had to be solved. It went before them out into the Jordan River, so the river miraculously opened up for them, making them able to cross over to the other side. It took part in the confirmation of the covenant between God and Israel at Mount Ebal. And still, when Israel failed God and was conquered by the enemy, and the ark was taken from them, God used the ark to judge the Philistines and humiliate their gods so that they were forced to send it back again. In this situation, God used the ark as a status symbol of his kingship. Even when God didn't protect his backsliding people, he had protected the ark as it represented his authority. This makes it clear that no man needed to protect it and that God would keep it safe all on his own. This also eliminates the possibility of it being destroyed. The ark had been God's throne on earth, and the Bible says, "Thy throne, O God, is forever and ever." While Jeremiah had just witnessed Jerusalem and the temple being destroyed, he had something entirely different to say about God's throne. "Thou, O Lord, remaineth forever, thy throne from generation to generation." So what really happened to it? Jeremiah had been told by God that the city and temple were going to be destroyed. He was prepared, and so were many others. The most natural thing to do was to hide away their most sacred object, the Ark of the Covenant. A prophetic word on the end times in the Bible might have given us a clue as to where the Ark would resurface. "And it shall come to pass in the last days, and let us go up to the mountain of the Lord, for out of Zion shall go forth the law and the word of the Lord from Jerusalem." In the 19th century, archaeology got its beginning when different scholars went looking among the old remains found in the Middle East.